Massive part of me left that night. We got fully robbed. Might be over the top, but at least it's me.
It's an addiction.
I got rid of my phone number. I found God in that time.
Hang on a second! Mitchell! It is not gay! Mitchell! What have you done, you Mitchell! Fucking idiot.
Yeah, check.
You're a fuckhead!
Well, there's a good chance that if you don't sleep with me tonight that I will press charges. Anyway. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Outspoken. Got a very good guest today, guys. Good friend of mine. He's been off the grid a little bit the last year or so, working on himself, doing big and good things. Guys, ladies, gentlemen, whatever pronoun you are, welcome, Mitch Orval.
Thanks for having us.
How are you, brother?
Good. I promise I haven't just been working on my posture either. This is just the microphone.
It's these tall mics are making us have good posture, you know? Shoulders back, chest up, chin forward.
But yes, I'm here. Thanks for having us, guys.
No, it's good to see you, bro. It's been an interesting year for you, I think.
Mate, it's as you know, I had a year off, and I had a kid 2 years ago and another son in the last 12 weeks.
Congratulations.
And yeah, man, life got hectic for me, and I guess I had to take a little bit of time off to see what life I wanted to live and how I wanted to set myself up. And not only just for me, I had kids that I had to thinking about, and I think that's when you have kids.
Well, when you become a parent, you're almost forced into this whole new world of responsibility and maturity, and like you need to focus on more than just yourself or more than just work. You know, there's like you're now responsible for two living beings now, you know, so
2 kids, bro. It's
must be busy
as, but it's taught me the art of selfless living.
Yep.
And I think that, I guess when you're living for yourself, I mean, life, it seems like it's all that great and it can be great, but hey, living for someone else, especially when it comes to your children, you know, like 2 people, like sons that I unconditionally love, you start to live a bit different, if that makes sense.
It's motivating too, you know.
You start to live for something else other than just your own selfish motives and selfish agendas. It's like you're forward thinking. So it's like every decision I make, it's not only, is this for instant gratification now, or is this going to affect me in the long term or my family in the long term? It's a bit more of a wholesome process that you have to go through.
More responsibility. You got to do a lot more. So I can respect that. For anyone living under a rock for some reason here in Australia, Mitch has made a big name for himself in Australia doing videos, pranks on his dad with his family, his beautiful girlfriend, and now he's got a lovely little family. And he's taken a nice year off Instagram, all socials, yeah?
I deleted everything for 12 months. The only thing that I did have was a burner Twitter account for Web3 because I went down that rabbit hole, obviously. But yeah, apart from that, I saw nothing, and I was just...
It must have felt so clear.
It was crazy, man.
Just taking a weekend off social media, I feel great at the end of it.
It was like I literally had to decide how to live for myself again. And I know it sounds weird, but when you've been posting content and showing your life, the inside and outside of your asshole for your whole life, and then you go from not showing it, there's a part of you that stopped living because I wasn't sharing. And it was a massive awareness thing for me. Like I'm an open book, you know what I mean? I don't mind talking about this stuff, but even I'll share like the first 3 months that I got off social media, I had like a little breakdown when I looked at my phone because I had no photos or videos of Artie anymore. Because I stopped taking them because I wasn't sharing them. And I was
you'll notice so many little things.
That was a reality check for me, you know what I mean?
I haven't had kids, but I feel like I could benefit from something like that, whether it's a year or a month or 3 months. But I know exactly what you mean. It's like you feel like, why do it if you're not going to share it?
Well, that's it. Not doing it. And it's like, it's also... when you do something, you're like, you want to see how it's received and how it's responded. And it's like, if no one sees it, did it really happen or does it really feel that way? And I had to retrain myself to start to do things that I liked and I wanted. But I guess where I was lucky was I was selflessly living for my kids. So it wasn't just about me, you know what I mean? How can I, fill this hole that's now gone or where I was? It was, okay, how can I now, readjust and make better decisions and, start to live for, my kids and start to bring that joy and happiness through them.
For sure. What was it like not using your phone? Did you find yourself like your body just wanting to grab it all the time? Was it like, how was like the first 2 weeks like? It's an addiction.
I got rid of my phone number. Yeah. So I cancelled my plan.
Full off the grid.
I had no phone. Like my mate Deej was like my only, he had a phone, and if anyone needed, like my partner contacted me, my family, it was through Deej because if I wasn't with them, I was with Deej.
Yeah.
And that's how I did it. Like, it was pretty extreme, you know what I mean?
So you've cold turkey.
I went cold turkey.
But not everyone's going to understand why you did go as extreme. Like, you can explain it, and some people was like, oh, yeah, that's okay. Oh, yeah, I get it. Oh, he's doing it. But it's like, until you living there, I feel like, not with like the kids side of life, but I can relate with you big on the need to share things, the need to work, always doing things for gratification online, and that just whatever it is, it's like, I've wanted to stop making videos so many times in the last 3-4 years. And I don't take breaks. I just kind of stop making content for things, but I'll still check shit. And I'm like, it's toxic. It's so bad for your brain. It's just constantly rewarding your brain with that dopamine, and it's so unhealthy.
Instant gratification. And it was like, when you go without it for so long, you start to, you know what it is? It's sadly, our generation was given far too much quick dopamine hits, right? And life's not meant to be like amazing all the time. It's not meant to feel good. Like, life is hard. It's really hard. Yeah. You know what I mean? You're going to have like amazing moments, but life is generally quite hard and quite tough. And I feel like we've been given so many devices and things that we can escape into and from to make us not have to deal with the real stresses of life.
100%.
But sometimes those stresses are your ideal self putting those stresses onto you because they know what you're capable of, and they know that you're capable of more. So I feel like, separating from that instant gratification of always having to overshare and be received for that, it really helped me work out, who I was and what I wanted to do. And it was.
I like what you said about this generation so different. I feel like we're like a middle generation almost at the moment, we don't know as much of what's going on right now. It's just, and even Brad Pitt in the movie Fight Club fucking 20 odd years ago said a good thing. It's like, we have no great war. Our great war is a spiritual war. Our biggest war currently in today's society is against ourselves. Unless you're in a third world country, which thankfully I'm grateful we're not.
Exactly.
We're in a great country, but
couldn't agree more.
Our biggest battles and wars are literally a spiritual, what's going on in your life and your brain. We don't have a Great Depression, any war happening here like 100 years ago when the Great Depression was on, when there was wars, when Hitler, World War II, Germany, all this crazy shit going on. We're living through a time where it is pretty fucking easy.
Bro,
we're spoiled.
I spoke to, so this is my other thing. Like, I got amazing polarity from the friendships I then started to make as well, because
they're real friends.
Hey, you would know, bro. When you're online, you think it's a bit coincidental that everyone with a blue tick gets along. No, it's a network. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We've all got such different personalities, and I realized I was fishing in the same ponds, trying to create relationships and friendships that, hey, maybe that's not who I was. Maybe maybe you can make a friend that's not online.
100%. You probably find better friends that don't do it.
So as I say, I ended up becoming really close friends with my friend Diego, who you guys have been lucky enough to meet, and you guys know what he's like. And he was
massive penis, massive penis. He's over there. He's over there behind the cameras.
He's looking down his pants.
He's checking to see how big it is. He's a great guy. Great guy.
But he was able to offer me such amazing polarity when it comes to different perspectives, because he's from Brazil. He's from a third world country. And you know what? I spoke to him about mental health, right? And you know what he said to me? We don't have time to think about mental health in Brazil because there's too much going on. And I said, that's a first world problem. And I was, wow.
We have so much freedom.
So much time. We can sit there in our minds and feel so sorry
create
for
problems.
ourselves. We create problems
Yeah,
for
it's
ourselves.
like we suffer more from imagination than reality. It's a quote that I read and it stuck with me.
That was amazing.
Yeah, we do.
You could have claimed that as your own.
It is my own. It's my own. Everyone watching, I made that up. Nah, but it is true, man. I feel like in these countries, America, Australia, United Kingdom, obviously there's a lot of poverty still in these countries, but the general population and above, like an average class person here, we've got it pretty good, compared to some of these other countries. So
I couldn't agree more. And I think it's nice to sometimes get that reality check and go, hey, if I can look at this situation now and realize, hold on, maybe I don't have it all that bad. Yep. Maybe my mind is, playing a couple of tricks on me. It's worth exploring in my case anyway.
Well, that's what I think with places like Brazil, even look at something like Ireland with Conor McGregor, he's come up, how supportive they were. Other countries all around the world, whether it's America, whether it's Africa or all these countries where they didn't have as much, you know what I mean? So they actually really believe in their people. They're loving and supportive. Obviously, you're always going to get a few trolls and haters, but I mean, I think here we have it pretty easily for the most part compared to other countries. And it brings like an entitlement to a lot of people that they see someone in Australia become successful or do well or make some money. They're like, their first initial thought, a lot of people is to like hate on that or to try to bring them down or try to dig up some stuff from their past to make them look stupid. And it's like, I've dealt with that heaps, and it's a shame that we live here in that stuff, but at the same time, you just got to be grateful for what we do have,
It's true. That's what I feel like people practice the most. The most people that are content are the people that are grateful.
Yep. Definitely. I do want to. I got so many things I want to talk about. I haven't seen you in ages.
Let's roll, man. I've got plenty of time.
There we go. No one's seen a lot from you in the last while, so people are probably wondering a lot of things. I haven't seen you in a while, and I think I would like to start with a little background for anyone watching that hasn't seen some of your early day stuff. Obviously, you started off like a bit of a social media career, pranking your dad, you and your brother.
Yeah, and it was when you think about it, it was like I reckon it was so long ago that it was like when we were doing those sort of videos, it was sort of before it was a job or a career.
It was
fun.
fun.
What I mean, it was fun. It was just viral Facebook.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
you guys were making back then.
You guys were making videos a similar time to me and Shami, me and everyone else. We all kind of got into that wave of Facebook. Was kind of the first platform.
viral
man.
Facebook videos.
Exactly. You do Facebook, then eventually you drift off, do some YouTube, do some Instagram, blah blah blah. But yeah, it's like everything's so different. We're going back like I don't know how long it was ago you started, but this is like 6 years ago, maybe
I think it's about
more.
7 years ago.
Yeah, man, we're going back a while. And I remember seeing your guys' videos, you just trolling your dad, pissing him off, him getting actual angry, hence angry dad.
And I think that's what people like never really understood with us was like, I was a kid that grew up in like a firecracker of a household.
Yep.
You know what I mean? My dad was mad. He was angry. That was who he was.
Footballer.
And, I found a way to turn that into a bit of fun and a bit of a joke. You know what I mean? But when I was doing those videos and pranks and stuff, that was me making light of a fun situation and just posting it so everyone.
I think
could
that's
enjoy.
where the best things start is when you're just doing it for a bit of harmless fun. You're just trying to make your friends laugh or make yourself get a bit of a giggle, And then when you start doing it, then you think like, oh fuck, I'll film it, put it to an audience. It's a unique kind of thing there, and it's like not many people are filming and doing it back when you kind of were doing it in Australia.
It was it's weird when I even like it's been such a season ago that I almost can't even remember it, if that makes sense.
No, I feel it does make sense. I understand.
But it was such a blessing when I think about it because it opened every single door that I currently walk through today, without a doubt. Does that make sense?
No, definitely.
It was the framework for everything. It gave me an identity in this country, and I was able to then, piggyback off that and make something out of it.
I think there you go.
Were you always fucking around before you started filming? Like, was this like? How at what point did you start filming? Like, this is good content.
So, honestly, I can't even, like, phones I feel were always pretty shit. Does that make sense in terms of recording? But I was always like pranking, right? And especially, I used to prank my brother a lot. Mm-hmm. So if you were to ask my brother, I was always willing to put in the hard yards to go for a good scare.
Yeah.
I even remember like when I was like 17, my brother had a skylight above his like walk-in wardrobe.
Yeah.
And I scaled up his walk-in wardrobe and pulled myself into his like skylight.
Oh, wow.
And I was waiting in there for when he got out of the shower because I knew he'd come out of the shower nude in his towel, pull out his drawers, and I was above him. So I just dropped on him like a drop
Fucking drop bear.
He thought the roof collapsed.
Oh, wow.
Is he older than you?
Yeah, 3 years older.
Have you had any blues?
Yeah.
Plenty of blues?
Yeah.
Sure. Most brothers would, especially if he's fucking with each other.
Yeah, he rinsed me in them, but he always knows that he can take me up to 80%, but if I go from 80 to 100, he's out.
80 to 100, Mitch, game over for him.
Yeah, he's out. But
I can understand
he'll
that.
push me to 80, no doubt.
That's pretty good though. At least you have the threshold. You understand it.
Yeah.
So that's good. And you did videos for a good few years, made a good fucking living out of it, man. I'm not saying you made shitloads of money, but you were able to make that a job.
Yeah, bro. It was such an amazing experience. We did nightclub tours. We went to America. We did like everything. We made a career for it. For me, my dad, my brother, they left their jobs. I just finished school. We lived a good, few years just through Angry Dad, which was crazy when you think about it.
It's very early days, man, as well. And I think there's a lot of things that, people are going to say, oh, this is just a first world problem. But a lot of things that someone like yourself probably doesn't get credit for is that we started doing stuff when it was a very grey field or grey area. Like, not many people were doing it.
We pioneered it to a degree.
In a way, we did, for sure. And there was a lot. It was just new feelings, emotions, experiences. We're putting new situations like, we can actually make money from this. Had to deal with the hate. Had to deal with people that probably knew your whole life turning on you and all sorts of shit. And I had to do this as well. People don't understand that starting it there, you couldn't really look to other people and be like, oh, this person's doing it, so I'm going to be able to do it. Like, parents probably didn't believe in certain things, other friends, and that was like, oh, you're wasting your time.
Massively.
There's a lot of a mental blockage, like a mental barrier that you had to overcome in the early days of that.
I think what you said there was a really good one that I never even probably thought about until you just said it, which is we didn't have that culture where you can just copy and imitate like you see now. Like every TikTok is the same people doing the same dances with the same voice and the same everything. You're getting millions of views. It's like we had to be critical thinkers that were coming up with, our own shit.
Unique
shit randomly.
And then keep coming up with it.
And you don't even we're doing it not even with the intention of, especially for the first year and a half of me, getting paid. You know what I mean? It was through the fun of doing it. Which
well, that's what everyone said to me. Like, oh, he's 2 minutes of fame. He's just getting his 2 minutes of fame doing a video. I'm like, we'll see where you're at in a few years. I'm like, oh, it's about, you got to keep doing it. And I've been very inconsistent the last couple of years with making social media content because I just drifted out into doing other things. My head got all fucked up as well from it all, as a lot of people do. And yeah, it's one of those things. It just takes a while for you to get your fucking grasp around it, I found.
It's hard, bro. I don't think that our brains are designed to have that much information and that much stuff coming at us all the time. And when you're not even just exploring it and looking into it, when it's actually coming at you and you're receiving it, it's a lot of energy to take on. It's overwhelming.
And you don't have much time to deal with. You're like, fuck, I've got to keep making these videos. If you make one and post and it goes well, and then that's that, it's like, cool, you're probably not going to get work or like make a living out of doing it. You got to continually think of new ideas, make sure you film them, time them, put the time into it all, and still make money somewhere else. You know what I mean? And that's what I did.
Yeah.
So
it's true.
Oh, sorry, I thought you said something.
Your whole family, do they pretty much rely on social media now? Your immediate family, they're all just rely on social media now, kind of from what you've grown at the beginning.
Yeah, well, to a degree, I think what we all worked out was pretty not early on, but early enough was that it is quite seasonal, right? So you don't want to have to rely on just being popular.
Yep.
You sort of want to get a brand or get something
because the general public can turn on you
exactly
like that.
Right. You don't want that to be what everything you're relied on. That makes sense. So we always looked into starting our own businesses. My mum has a supplements company, so my
cool.
sister has her own clothing company. My partner has an activewear company. You know what I mean? We all
very business minded, smart family.
We all branched off and created our own, concepts under what we were passionate about.
You created a good lifestyle for yourselves, man. You've done really well.
That's it. And then now, at the end of the day, if all of a sudden, Hannah, me, we're all one day, Australia turns on us and you're not popular.
We've all got each other.
Not only that, but you've got your businesses, and then you can employ other people, and you can employ the new generations of content creators to start doing it. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
so
100%.
It's understanding that, diversifying within the field to the best of your means, I would say.
Did that stem from anyone in your being business minded? Like, was your dad really business minded?
My dad's a machine, man.
So what did he do for work before he?
He was a general manager of multiple big companies when I grew up. That's what I remembered. He started off at City West Water, I think it was called, then Nilex, and then Bauer Media, but he was always managing, 100 to 150 people, staff. Right. And he was, I drew massive inspiration from him in how he operates in business. And I was always listening to him on the phone, talking, calls, this, that. So yeah, I feel like that was,
taking your own notes subconsciously almost.
Hugely for me.
Yeah.
Even just having the drive, you know what I mean? To know that, you can do something like that. And the confidence.
Well, I guess that's not like, I'm not going to say it's a luck thing, but it's a beautiful thing that you did have a good father figure that was a hardworking dude, smart, switched on guy, and you can look at that and take a bit of inspo from it and learn yourself and know what to implement into your later life when it's necessary.
Massively. And he's still he's the framework to my mum's company. He still helps my sister massively. Everyone still uses my dad's, knowledge.
He's the rock.
He's a machine at what he does.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because family ties, you know what I mean? Because you care, he's always going to be there. So
you can always rely on your family. That's like me. When I just recently sold my other house, I threw big parties in, and in the stage of moving out, I had hundreds of different people coming in and out, partying, getting fucked up, hanging out, whatever it was. Come the week of moving out, man, I had like a month's worth of shit to do in like 5 days to move out of that house. And who was there? My mum, my dad, my sister. Mum and dad aren't together. They both were there for pretty much the whole week, like helping me. Obviously, Lockie and a few of the boys helped out. I'm not going to take credit away from all my mates, but it's like you say, family is always there.
Yeah.
Hopefully, for people watching, family's always there. You can usually rely on your family. It opened my eyes a bit, and I was like, fuck, I'm putting on all these parties, spending 100 G's on a big old party for like the whole town to come and have fun and rip in. And then not many of these people would be there if you needed them for something. And I don't do shit to ask for a favor in return, but it's more so just the principle that's like, none of these people really. So I was like, fuck, I might just stop these parties for a bit, put my time and money into myself, and kind of learn these things as you go.
Well, bro, I feel like you can't really go wrong when you start giving back to yourself, hey? And that's what I fell in love with in my time off was, the concept of personal development. And I feel like in today's life, we're always focused on, one pillar of our life and working on it, whether it's, as you say, our job, social media, and we go...
It's these things, bro, they're fucking mind control.
We go heads down into social media, but it's like when you go heads down into personal development, and that's looking after yourself from inside and out, all of a sudden, right, you're not neglecting any of the pillars. When you're working on yourself, all of a sudden your family starts to rise, your business starts to rise, every single thing around you starts to rise because you're filling up your cup from the inside first. And that was it was a concept that I never really had. I used to just willingly pour from an empty cup and think that was, you know, that was how I could do it for everyone.
Practicing the same old things.
But at the end of the day, I was just resenting everyone for that anyway. So, you know, when I started working on myself and developing myself personally and doing what I wanted to do, I started to get happy from the inside. And then by that, like, because it sounds selfish when you say like I'm personal development, it's like, oh, well, it sounds selfish, but it's not. It's when you create the best version of yourself, you actually unconsciously give everyone else around you the permission.
There has to come a stage in your life where you put yourself first. And I've been guilty of putting other people before me most of my life. I'll always make sure that everyone else around me is doing well and happy and healthy. And, you know, if someone needs a bit of money, I help them out. Or if someone needs a friend, I'm there, you know. And then gets to the stage, like you said, you're pouring all your energy and time into someone else's cup, all these other people's cups to try to keep people out. And you're just like, fuck, I'm not very happy. I need to do this to myself. And there's nothing wrong with being selfish in that sense. Like, it's your own life. Like, I don't think it's selfish at all. So,
and and I guess that was where I'd never done anything. I think that's where my extreme 1 year off sort of led me to. Like, I had no phone. I didn't, all of those access points that were once so open to everyone that had a part and a piece of me, they stopped. And those boundaries, you know, they shook a lot of people up, but the right ones respected it.
It's impressive that you managed to do that. Like, not many people could probably last a whole year. Everyone says that, oh, I could do that easily. I don't need it. But it's like, people will break eventually. Like, I've deleted TikTok off my phone and be like, oh, I'm not going to get back on it for at least a month just to see how I go. A week later, I'm back on there just watching shit. And I'm like, fuck.
It's such a bad addiction that people are so subconsciously, they won't admit it. They'll be like, I'm not addicted to my phone.
Yeah. But my life, I never even opened up my DMs or the app on Instagram or anything once.
That's crazy.
Wow. Not once.
I applaud that. That's very impressive. Wow. But like, it's like they say, like you were saying, it's addictive. It's like a form of addiction. The way someone broke it down in this video I watched, right, is like, you know, on like TikTok, you can refresh your explore feed or Instagram or whatever. They've trained it so it's like a similar dopamine chemical in your brain is being triggered like a fucking casino slot, like a pokey. It's like just rolling.
Well, do you know? Do you know what the technology of TikTok is?
No.
So it's a Chinese company that owns it called ByteDance, right? It's an AI app that all that app is designed to do is to addict you to its algorithms in 30 seconds. So basically, within the first 30 seconds of you going on it, it's comparing your data to the other billions of users across the app, and it's saying, how can we addict you within 30 seconds and get you into a loop? That's it.
Well, you can just keep refreshing until you see something you like. In 30 seconds, you're going to see something.
That's it. So it's literally designed to trap us into holes and then to get our brains into algorithms and then farmed across with other people's data to make us trapped in the same algorithms as them.
And then there's all these billion-dollar companies trying to do the exact same thing. They're all just trying to buy a little bit of your time so they can have a bit more profit.
Attention is the new currency.
Yeah,
100%.
What it is.
And you not having socials for a year, you would have had so much more brain power and time and just clear-headedness to like, and you probably would have been trained. Were you training and stuff like that?
Yeah, I felt immune to like what was like, I felt like I was living an alternative life. If that
I get
makes
what you
sense.
mean.
Like there was the conversation that was going on in the world because of Instagram and because of everything and because of the news and because of all that. And then there was the conversations going on because of my life and what I knew and what I was up to. So I was like, I was always able to offer a different conversation or a different talking point because I had been so withdrawn from what everyone else was talking about. So I feel like it worked. It added that polarity that I never once really had.
Were you feeling that spare time? Were you feeling that with like business stuff? Because a lot of people like take dopamine detoxes. So, you know, when their dopamine, it just gets like when they have a good thing in business, they just go hard at it because they're not feeling dopamine with other shit like, you know, phone and stuff like that.
I think I did go pretty hard into learning through the Web3 stuff. I fell in love with learning, you know what I mean? Because I'd never learnt and I'd never educated myself on what I wanted or what I loved. Does that make sense?
You just did what worked
almost? I did what worked or what was cool or what was trendy or what I thought was going to be next. Whereas this thing, it was genuine curiosity that took me here. It was, you know, I genuinely was interested and then I started following things that I thought was interested and all of a sudden I'm like following politics over here and economics over here and I'm like, wow. This is interesting to me. And I started to, you know, get passionate about things and all of a sudden no one, and because I'm some burner account on Twitter, no one knows who you are. You can actually, you could actually be a part of something and as not yourself. So I feel like, that made me, you
would have been able to detach from a lot of like, not like toxic, but the bad habit things that you would have had before because you wouldn't have been like, oh, no one knows it's me. He's just looking at something, you know, I'm not here posting. No one knows what I'm doing every day. I could be fucking in the Bahamas right now working out. No one knows where I am. Great. And like I've liked taking breaks myself, and sometimes I'll go on a trip and I won't even post for a week when I'm there. Then when I get back, I'll post some things, you know, because I don't want everyone to know exactly what I'm doing in the moment all the time.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it's really impressive. You took a whole year.
Thanks, bro.
I'd love to do that sometime.
Just curious. Sorry.
God.
Whoa.
It's God. Hello.
God.
I did find God, but
We call him God. He touches in every now and then with his say.
Yeah, I'm just curious. What were some of the things that you worked on? So you're talking about personal development and stuff. For anybody at home, like what's some tips?
Honestly, I'd say that my number one was my personal philosophy. And I feel like a lot of people don't touch on that. And that is like, what do you want out of this life? You know what I mean? Your personal philosophy is, you know, it's your own unique design. What do you want to get out of life, and are you going to be happy? And I feel like a lot of people are, you know, we're tied to society's philosophies or the current trend of life. It's like, no, get your own personal philosophy, one that you can be proud of, one that you can carry your hat on and feel good about yourself. And I feel like for me, that was my biggest thing, was what did I want? And I know a massive thing for me was I wanted to be proud of myself as a dad, right? And I knew that anything that took me away from that, I was going to carry that hat of shame. And
it's just a good goal to have, though.
Yeah, and
you know?
and with that, bro, it was like I was able to, you know, to knuckle down and become a better person and to have a bit of awareness on that sort of shit.
Nah, it's like very mature. It's just really good, man. It's important and it's impressive as well. I think it's a good advice for anyone out there that's struggling with these things as well, because we get so caught up in this world that we forget. Like, you could ask a lot of people right now, what do you want out of your life? Most people are just like, I just want to be happy. Oh, I just want money. You ask them for an in-depth answer, they will have nothing really to say. A lot of people are like, oh, I just want to, you know, make my job, have a family, do this. But it's like, oh, what do you like really want? Like, what's something you would like die to have? Like, what do you want to live for? And a lot of people don't have that philosophy, or like I find when I get into my bad ruts mentally, it's when I feel like I don't have much purpose. Like, I'm lacking purpose. I'm like, okay, I'm a bit sick of making these pranks, or I'm a bit sick of doing vlogs, you know, like what the fuck can I do? I don't know what else is going to work for me, you know? And I got stuck in these repeated cycles of doing the same shit, a bit like you, just doing what works.
Totally, bro.
And I was able for me to step back a bit. I did some OnlyFans shit years ago. I made some money and I could sit down and go, okay, cool. There's no pressure that I have to work right now. What do I want to do? I wanted to do a podcast. I wanted to do some boxing. I wanted to get healthy. I wanted to fix what was going on in my brain.
Good on you, bro.
And this year I've been able to do a lot. I had my spine surgery. I've fucking worked on myself a lot. Went through a breakup.
I can tell, man. I can actually tell even the way, obviously we haven't spoken for a while.
It's been a good year or so probably. Oh, maybe a bit less.
The way you're holding in the conversation. So yeah.
Yeah, I just feel more with it, you know. I had to go through that breakup. I had to do my spine surgery. Had to take a break from it all to realize I didn't need like a year of not social media, which probably would have been beneficial, but I still think there's a lot of uncovered mysteries inside me that I would like to uncover, probably from doing a big break like that.
Well, maybe, bro, that's going to be your little goal now, or little journey with your own personal philosophy, because I feel like that's one thing that we're never taught, is that we can have our own. You know what I mean? We're always given like these blueprints that we think we have to follow to feel good or to be accepted. But no, if you get what you want out of your life and you're happy, you've nailed it. My problem is I try not to look too far ahead, because that's when I start getting freaked out. I don't want to like think too far into the future. I'm just like, right now, I want to box. I want to have a few fights next year. I'm definitely going to have a few fights now that I fixed my back. I can train properly. I should be able to fight hard now next year. Keep doing the podcast. So it's nice to have that purpose. And I think when you step back from your normal everyday life and actually separate yourself from people, of your daily habits, and just do the basic stuff, and then you will just naturally start to think of it, what it is you want. Couldn't agree more, bro.
Drown the outside noise a bit.
Could not agree more.
You also took a massive break from, or you still are, from alcohol, right? How far along are you with that?
So I've probably had maybe like, so this is the other thing that I would wanted to talk about too, was one thing I found that I always did with social media is attach myself to labels. You know what I mean? You become sober. You attach yourself to a label, then you're the sober guy. You do this and you attach yourself to that, and then
you're
you become
a party
that guy.
person.
It's
or
like, I just
that,
want to be Mitch Orval, you know what I mean? I just want to be a balanced guy with a great life. And that's what I realized that I could be when I stepped away. I didn't have to attach myself to these titles and these labels. So for me, bro, I don't drink. But I'm not sober.
But it is a lot
I don't want to be the sober guy.
I was about to say that. I think the longer you do something, it becomes your identity. Like now, like, you know, I was just bringing up that you were sober, but like now you are just you because you've done it for so long. It's just your identity now. So I think over time, eventually you're not the sober guy anymore. You're just, that's you. That's
it's like you said with the labels, people put so much pressure on themselves.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like you're withholding this label. And then it's like, I realized that after the first like year and a bit, I didn't even think about drinking anymore. But then every time I was standing there drinking, it's like I was attracting always the people that were like,
come and talk to you about it.
And it made it like, and I started to feel like the problem for me was becoming worse than it ever intentionally was. And I think it was because I personally attached myself to that label of being the sober guy and running with it and stuff. But as you can see, labels can work for you sometimes and they can work against you. But I think life is about balance. If you can get a
Definitely,
balance right,
balanced is the perfect spot.
And yeah, that would be my 2
I
cents.
think like the thing as well for people like ourselves is we get to these stages where you don't even think about it in depth. A while ago, we share so much of our lives everywhere. So people get invested, and then if you say you're going to be sober for a month or something, and then 3 weeks goes by and you're out seen drinking, every message, oh, I thought you were sober. Oh, I thought you were sober.
Yeah.
Oh, so you didn't do it. Oh, embarrassing. And it's like, fuck off. No,
Yeah.
I just didn't make it for a month. Get fucked. I want to drink. You know what I mean? Each to their own though. It's like balance. Like I take good breaks from drinking every now and then, and I take breaks from smoking weed every now and then. I do all these things and take breaks. It's just about balance. If I find I'm in a rut where I'm drinking 5 days a week, cool. I need to acknowledge that.
And that's the key, bro. If you've got the awareness to call yourself out on your own bullshit and fix it, go for it. You know what I mean? But I feel like a lot of people don't. So that's where it's easier to attach to a label and then an outcome.
Yeah, 100%. I also wanted to ask, because like obviously you guys grew up and mainly lived down in Melbourne.
Yeah, I grew up in I've only been in Goldie for 3 years now.
Yeah, okay. And what made you like, because you moved up here first, because most of your family wasn't here. Now all your family's up here, aren't they?
Yeah, they followed me.
Yeah, there you go. They stalked you.
They stalked me.
That's cool though.
Honestly, what they like for us, I grew up in Melbourne, like with my dad and stuff, and was always under that like strict thought that Melbourne was the best place ever. I'd never live anywhere else. Melbourne's the most livable city in the world. And then all of a sudden, my partner, she grew up in Brisbane.
Yep.
She was from Ipswich, actually. And she, when she was like, hey, like, I think it was about maybe 4 years or 3.5 years into our relationship, she was like, this cold weather in Melbourne is making it hard for me to act like I'm not even enjoying myself.
Warm weather's huge, man. Some people love the cold, and bless them.
Because I'd never experienced it because I'd always lived in Melbourne. So I was like, I'm not going to ever say no to anything. Does that make sense? So let's, I'm happy to test it. And we spent a little bit of time in Brisbane with her mum, and we liked that. And then we were like, let's try Gold Coast. We stayed in an Airbnb in Gold Coast for 2 weeks, and I was like, this is the best place I've ever been in my life. I thought Gold Coast was surfers paradise. Because I was from Melbourne. That's what I thought.
That's what you think of.
Busy.
That's it. I thought surfers.
There's a lot more here. Yeah,
parks.
I'm the same.
Bro, it's beautiful. It's like it was a hidden gem. And then within weeks I was sold. And I don't think I can see myself anywhere else.
A lot of people love living in cities, but like I personally don't. I like the more laid back, like Gold Coast still there is a city and it can get busy. There can be traffic and the lifestyle of being in a city, but Melbourne and Sydney, it's just like I've lived in Sydney. I never lived in Melbourne, but I've been there a few times and I just couldn't live there. It's just so hectic.
Being, even going back to visit, I'm like, whoa, how did I live here?
How long did it take you to buy your first house when you came here? Because you had that house at the coast.
We bought that in a year, I think. Right. 1 year in.
And how did that go? You sold that recently?
Yeah, we sold that. We had it for a year. And
some drama went on?
Goosebumps.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, yeah. But I seen some shit that happened. Some people try to break in.
Yeah, we got fully robbed.
That's crazy.
It's
pretty bad up here at the moment, bro. A lot of people happening. Like Jeremy and Isabel's house, people try to break into recently.
I'm obviously I didn't want to live in an apartment forever now because I'm still in an apartment since, but I'm trying, I'm wanting to move back into a house because it's going to suit how I want to live.
Yep.
But mentally, I'm still not there yet.
Really bro, it's a big experience, man, because you don't know what could happen, man. And when you think about it, like if you got kids, bro, you got a missus, you got kids, it's your home, it's your nest. If someone's going to try to come in there, and if you're going to catch them, some shit's going to go down, and you might ruin your own life in the process, which just isn't fair. Someone's entering your home where you and your family are to steal from you or to cause harm. Fucking crack them with a bat. You know what I mean? Like. I would smash someone's legs to pieces with a bat if they came into my house. If I had kids in there, then I'm the bad one.
Yeah.
Like, oh, hell, he's a fucking psycho. He used a weapon. Like, no. I have kids in my house and my partner. I defend it with my life. That's exactly what I'd do if people were to break in. And you obviously, we won't have to go into too much detail, but you obviously chased them down or we grabbed one of them or something. Some shit happened. So.
Oh, yeah. He nearly ran me over out the front of my house.
Yeah.
I had a butcher knife in my hand. My car was had him blocked into our driveway. He was trying to steal my missus's car. So I'm in like a Mexican standoff with a butcher knife with him. But we realized, we realized that he was trying to steal a car. He wasn't trying to hurt me. He could see in my eyes. I didn't want to stab him. You know what I mean? I was just saying leave. And, he left and it happened. But at the end of the day, right, you feel there's a part of you that goes.
Oh man,
a massive part of me left that night that I still have struggled to get back.
It's a very confronting situation. Being, you don't know what they've got, who they are, the intentions. You don't know anything.
I was in bed at 2:45 a.m. and weirdly enough, we'd been sick this week. My whole family had been sick. So instead of sleeping downstairs, which we normally do, we were upstairs where the aircon was. We had a mattress on the floor in one room. We were all in the one room together, and the dogs were up in bed with me. I heard a noise at like 2:30 in the morning. Felt that both the dogs in my lap, knew that my partner was in the
Big
bed.
dogs, little dogs?
Little dogs.
Oh, okay.
And I thought, if there's another noise, there's nothing else that it could be.
Yeah.
And then I heard what was a chain, which happened to be a handbag chain. And my
inside your house?
Yeah, inside. They were already at
Wow.
that point. They were in my missus's room, going through her handbag and getting cards out of her card. So I jumped up and I screamed from the top of the stairs, "Who's in my house?" And as soon as I yelled, I heard just
They would have legged it.
doors opening. And
Were they trying to like get out, freaked out?
So at that point, I didn't even know what was happening, but I came down, did like a lap to see what was going on. Then I saw my missus's car lights turn on, and I was like, "Whoa,
Yeah,
wow.
they're in my partner's car." And then that was when and then I could see too, my car was parked in the drive, like they couldn't leave. So that was when I ran out the front to be like,
They took the car that was parked in.
They took the car that was parked in.
Smart, very smart. But good for you guys.
Not the last car, the first one.
And do you want me to tell you what's the funniest thing? It's not even that funny, but after about a week and a half after, because they crashed Chloe's car like 3 or 4 times into my garage, into the tree. So there's a little bit of stuff that needed fixing. And she didn't have insurance on it. Wow. So if they had flogged her, they would have been up. We would have been down a car and they would have been. So
when we learn, hopefully they're insured now.
Yeah, definitely.
Man, there's the kids these days on the Gold Coast. They're so ruthless. Were they young?
Bro,
you know why? Because they don't get in any fucking trouble.
No.
They get a smack on the wrist. If they do it a few times, maybe, but...
I follow, I have this Instagram account, like a fake one, and there's like groups of kids like South Brisbane, Gold Coast, and they literally brag about stealing the most expensive cars they can get. And they are going in there like, they don't give a fuck. They just break into any house, will take anything.
The best thing to do is to not actually go to the police and handle it yourself. Honestly, that's what a lot of people I know do. Like, teach them an actual lesson. Don't get the cops to go knock on their parents' door. Oh, your son did this. Just tell them not to do it again. No, snap their fucking limbs so they can't move. Snap both arms, both legs, leave them there, drive them 20 kilometers up to Mount Tamborine, make them have to fucking use their torso to hobble back to town. I'm not saying I would do this.
If I was
a joke.
If I was a kid though, and I broke in and I got like a slap on the wrist, nothing really happened.
If you had your arms and legs snapped and left in the pitch black dark, you're not going to do it.
Arms and legs snapped, I'd probably be fucking scarred for life.
Remind me not to steal Jackson's car.
No, I would never do this. But this is why you use a bat, not a knife, because a knife could kill somebody, or a bat you just take legs. But anyway, we have to go into that.
So now, just living in an apartment, you kind of what puts you on edge all the time now.
Well.
I mean, less on edge, sorry?
Yeah, well, the apartment living was literally for safety. Like, at that point, I couldn't sleep and shit, so I was like, I just wanted to feel comfortable. But a year down the track, like, I still, like, wake up in the middle of the night sometimes, and I struggle to get back to sleep. So, and it's like...
I know how it feels, man, because my parents' cars got broken into a bit where I grew up. Wasn't like necessarily the ghetto, but there was criminals and shit like that. But then when I lived in the UK, a house I lived in got broken into a couple of times. Things were stolen, but there was a lot of people living there. I didn't notice much, but I know what it's like. And you start getting more paranoid about things, man.
It's just because what happens is, right, as everyone can relate to this. Tell me when you're 9, 10 years old as a kid, when you're laying in bed and you make up 100 different stories of what could happen to your house if this, and it never happens to you. But it's like, that one time that you make up a story and it does happen, it's like all of a sudden every story you make up forever could happen. And that's how your mind starts to play tricks on you. So it's like I find myself in these hypothetical situations a lot, wondering, I wonder if he did this, came over here and did it. And I'm thinking that's just actually my traumas playing out from...
It's a crazy thing because like every house these days has got cameras, got pretty good like systems and that set up, and like it still doesn't stop a lot of people.
Well, that was the third time. That was why we had camera stuff. So we got robbed 3 times.
Oh, wow.
And that was the third time was...
Do you think they knew it was you guys, or do you think it was just a coincidence?
See, that's the other 50% that I have to sleep with too.
Like, are they targeting you because of who you are, or is it just literally luck of the draw?
That's it. So it's like that's where your mind can not only start to consume you, it can annihilate you if you let it. Does that make sense?
No, it definitely makes sense.
Like I was trying to wonder, have I been sharing too much? Did I show my address? Have I been this? Like there's so many ways that you try to blame yourself for you know, if it was you or what. So
I went through
don't know.
stages a bit like that, man. Like my old house, the one I just sold, was very public. Everyone knew where it was.
Yeah.
You know, I threw big parties. Heaps of people knew exactly where it was. It was on the news. They pretty much said the street, you know. Every time I would hear cars driving past, I'd get up on my phone and look at the cameras to see if there was somebody there. And I was just like, fuck. Like, luckily I haven't had any problems, you know what I mean? But I would still have those thoughts. I'd be in my cinema room, I could hear a car, and I'm like, fuck, it's probably just a neighbor getting home. And I'm like, no, let me double check, make sure it's not some cunt trying to jump my fence, you know, like, because this shit does happen up here, and it's a shame that people do that. But I mean, that's why I think like the police and our like justice system are never going to probably do a great job. So people should instead. I'm not encouraging violence. I'm just, but I do want to ask something about you taking a break from social media. Did you find it helped with your relationship?
Yes and no, because honestly, having kids is the hardest thing for a relationship. Social media doesn't
And you and your
really make
missus are both pretty young still. Like,
exactly. The hardest thing for our relationship at the moment has been just from having 2 kids, and that you've got a mother that has to give 110% of herself to 2 children.
Yep.
And whether you like it or not, you're never going to get that same amount.
and you're a
back from
public
it.
relationship. Everyone
Exactly.
knows of you guys, you know,
But
and it's
Instagram wasn't really ever in the way of our relationship.
Yep.
I'd say we both grew up on it. We both had a pretty good, like, you know, understanding with each other on it. So it never really fucked with our
you know what it's
relationship.
like, man. You're like, you and your partner are both successful people in your own fields and doing stuff together, you know, and it's a lot of people would be talking, assuming, making things up, asking questions because you were gone for a whole year off social media. So everyone would just think, oh, he must just be fucking down or must something. It's like people wouldn't realize. People just assume so many things, and a lot of them would just be far from the truth. So it's like having that private time off social media to focus on your family, your relationship, your kids, yourself. I could imagine it would have been really good.
And it was honestly, and in that time, bro, for me, I know for a fact that I wouldn't have done the things that I did. So like, I found God in that time.
I did want to ask
I
about
started
that.
going to church in that time. Started doing all of these things that there's no way I would have done with social media and with, you know, that the influence that's always surrounding you. I was able to step into my own world, my own life, and think, what do I want to do to make myself feel better based on nobody else's opinion? And no one can even have an opinion because they don't even know what the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I want you to can we elaborate on the finding God and a new religion sort of thing like that at this stage of your life. It's cool. I respect it. Like, I'm not a very religious person.
Respect
Alex, my podcast, he's been a religious guy his whole life. His family is. He's been going to church his whole life.
I could hear that God voice when he commented.
Very good friend of
God
mine.
is
And, you know, and like a lot of my friends are religious. Some of them aren't. I respect everyone, whatever they want to believe in. So I was like, I guess it's like, how did it kind of come about? Like, did you have like an experience that really pulled you in?
It was many experiences, if that makes sense. I lived my life with, so obviously my friend that I met was Christian. Deej is probably one of the most, like, you know, I reckon he's like the modern day Jesus. You know what I mean? That's how I compare him.
How do I hire this guy? Can you live with me?
You probably could. Anyway, he when I first met him, he actually just naturally assumed that I must have been Christian from the way that I was how I handled. So he said, "Bro, have you?" And he so many different times he said to me, like, "You promise that you haven't read the Bible. You promise you haven't done this and stuff," and I like that. And I used to say, "Well, you know what? If I start to hear something that's got so many consistencies, and the things that he used to speak from the Bible and saying things I used to always be so aligned with naturally," and I thought, well, you know what? Maybe there's something more to it. And because I didn't have that external pressure, I thought, let's look into this. Does that make sense? I can lean into this as myself. There's no expectations, no disappointments.
No pressure, no nothing.
Let's see what it's got. And bro, God grabbed me with 2 hands and just took me down this massive, massive, massive journey where I felt supported for the first time in my life in a way from something bigger than myself, right? I feel like as a person, I always struggled with this 24/7 accountability on myself. That as a man, I had all these desires and things that I'd always let overcome me and ruin what I had, right? And then when I found God, it was this 24/7 surveillance camera on me that was out there to love me, that I thought I could really use with this energy on me.
Living with more
now.
purpose almost.
And just a bit more support. And I felt like all of my disappointments and stuff in life had always come from, you know, people or things, but nothing higher. And when I could put that faith into something a bit more greater than what was just around me and the scene, Bro, it moved wonders for me.
Were you finding this through praying or practicing gratitude, asking for forgiveness? Like what was this like? How do you find God? Just like
So a lot of prayer. So a lot of
praying,
praying and receiving. So
Gotcha.
you have not because you ask not. Have you ever heard that?
no.
Alex?
Actually, haven't.
Yeah.
Oh, there
you
you
have
go.
not because you ask not. So sometimes like things that I pray for come true.
Yep.
It was as simple as that.
Yeah, right.
There you go.
Interesting. There you go.
That's cool. What's your thoughts on all this, Alex?
Almost like speaking into existence kind of thing.
Yeah,
Obviously, you were born into a religious family, so I mean, it was ingrained in you as you grew up. But I mean, obviously, the faith and your belief it kept you there. You know, like it.
Yeah. Well, along the lines of what you were talking about, I think that with praying and stuff and becoming a Christian, it puts you in line with God, and then your wants are the same as His wants. And it kind of like just realigns you along that. So then what you're praying for is exactly what like His will is for your life and everything like that. So yeah.
Amen. Well said.
There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah, so it's basically kind of like almost like manifesting, right? So you're not actually speaking to God? I'm so uneducated about this. No, but like the thought, like the idea of Him, right? In your mind.
I pray to God. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So
cool.
the way that I look at it is that there's a God, a higher source that has nothing but unconditional love for me.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. And anything that happens to me isn't to me, it's for me.
Gotcha.
So if I ask for something and I don't receive it, it's because I'm being redirected for something bigger
happening
and
for a
something
reason.
better.
Right.
It's a healthy thing, man.
Instead of
It's-
things always happening to you and thinking, oh, it's okay, this is
Victim
for me.
mentality.
Okay,
Yeah.
God's redirecting me now into something bigger, into something greater.
Yeah.
And the philosophies that, that come with it, they're great. You know what I mean? Be kind to yourself, be kind to your neighbor.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
all
It's
a pretty
positive.
good thing to be.
It all
you know
makes
what I mean?
sense.
And obviously you can get like anything, like religion, you can get caught up in the semantics of everything, and you can if you go through the black and white stuff, you can spend your whole life going through it. But it's like if you look at it loosely and openly, it's a beautiful thing, and it's there to serve you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
also
awesome.
I also want to say it's not like a disconnect either. It's not like you're talking to someone that's just out there that you have no connection with. It's like
Something you
relationship.
feel like an energy.
It's a feeling, bro.
Yeah.
It's
Gotcha.
a feeling, and
catching
here's
on.
another good way to say it too. One of where the feelings I first started. This could maybe help people receive it through worship music. That's where I started to feel it for
100%.
the first time.
Hillsong.
Hillsong,
Anything.
barefoot
That's
music,
all I know.
all that. I'll give you some good songs actually.
I saw
Gyra,
you post the one on your back.
Gyra's a good song. Waymaker's a good song. Our Father's a good song.
Do you know
Too
any of
Good
these?
to Not
Yeah,
Believe.
all of them.
Bro, those sort of songs, right? You sit down and you'll know the feeling of listening to a song when you're out at a club.
Yeah.
Bro, this is you can get the same sort of feeling and rush where it's like, holy, like you get tingles. Because I've cried so many times through worship music, bro.
100%.
Look at this. I've stood there in church, right? Over just songs that, and then say one line out of a song, and all of a sudden, bro, I'm bawling my eyes out, crying, just
Yeah.
feeling.
I can understand it in a way, bro. Not that I've had these experiences, but like on a very smaller scale. I went to a youth group in my hometown where I grew up for probably the most part of a whole year. Like
Yeah.
once a week I do youth group, and they were all Christians and very big believers and stuff. And I wasn't there to find God, or I think I was there because I was just really immature and aggressive and just broken, like a lost young kid. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I didn't feel like I was very smart.
Did you take yourself there?
Yeah. Well, I got it kicked out of school at the end of year 9, and I went to a Christian college for year 10, and that was there. You kind of have to do a chapel thing once a week there. Then you meet people and like, oh, come to youth group they do it on Friday nights, or they do it after school on a Wednesday. I went on the Friday nights, free donuts. It was fucking awesome. And you listen to people sing, and you see everyone in the crowd, and they're fucking into it. But I was so immature and naive to things that I just looked at it and I was just like, oh, this is a bit weird. And I'm guilty of that, bro. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I was young. And I look around and like people would be like speaking like and saying things, and some people would be crying, and I'm like, what's going on with these people that I can't see? I was looking for answers, just looking for something to believe in to help my life. And I was pretty young, and I think I wasn't ready for that sort of shit then. But I know the feeling that you're explaining because I've watched it in other people.
Well, that's cool. That's cool to hear. And I think that honestly, like I find it weird. I feel like God sometimes puts us in places in our life so we can look back on them. And maybe you were there for that 1 year, from year 9 to 10 for a reason. So you could get that, understanding from back then, and you can carry it into your modern day life.
Well, a
Who
lot of
knows?
people I know that are big on religion and stuff, they are all pretty happy, loving, loyal, trustworthy people, So
It's just perspective, really. Like it changes, like instead of being sad, you're like, this is happening for a reason, I guess.
Yeah,
you shift it.
It's the two words, man, that I like. What I love using when I'm talking about it is just unconditional love.
Yep.
It's just giving yourself that and giving everyone that. And who doesn't want to be loved unconditionally? It's not It's not saying I'm gonna love you when you do this. It's come as you are. I love you now. And who doesn't want to feel like that?
Yeah.
When you walk into a room, you just want to feel accepted as you are. Come as you are.
Sounds like you've had a full-on big spiritual awakening, man, over this last year. You've just worked on yourself. You've found a connection with God. You're mature. You've been able to put time in your family. It's cool, man. You look like you're glowing.
Thanks,
glowing.
bro. I appreciate it,
My
man.
eyes are hurting because you're glowing so hard. And after this, I'm going to cut my cock off.
Cuss off with his sunnies.
Just so everyone knows. There is one thing I wanted to talk about. Obviously, you've had one boxing fight.
Yes.
You trained hard for that.
Yes.
Didn't look too bad, obviously.
Don't bring up any highlights.
Not the result you wanted, obviously, but at least you didn't get fucking knocked out or anything.
I did.
Oh, did you?
I did.
You weren't like knocked out cold or anything.
Second round, just-
Fuck it. Who cares?
Yeah,
It's first fight, whatever. Yeah. But, I mean, would you ever want to do any more boxing?
I would, bro.
Yeah.
I love boxing.
Yeah.
I love
You've done a lot of training too.
I've done a lot of training.
We all get trained by the same guy.
I fell in love with the sport after I lost because I realized I didn't give it the credit it deserved. I did an 8-week camp hitting pads, thought I was fucking mad, thought I was so like good, and then
you look at yourself
got
hitting pads, you're like,
and
I'm
then
the
got
man.
embarrassed. You know what I mean? So I thought, wow,
Comes down to who's working the hardest.
So I want to respect this sport. I want to reverse engineer it and learn it properly. So
that's a really good way to handle it, though. A lot of people are like, "Oh no, I just got I had a sore back," or "No, I just didn't. This happened.
I got
sick."
bashed.
There you go, bro. There's no shame in admitting that, bro. Like, who knows how much more experience this person had? Who knows the mental states of each person going in? There's so much contributing factors going into fights and
Thanks,
stuff.
bro. I appreciate that.
I've been a fan of MMA, fighting, all this shit for a very long time. I understand it pretty well as a fan, but I mean, I wanted to fight for a very long time, and I can't wait. Like, I do kind of want to do MMA once my back's really healed and I can kick.
So you're definitely a
I think boxing would be good for 3 or 4 fights just to get it. They're used to it. I don't care about making money.
Are you too barbaric for that?
I want to like have bone to like elbow. I want to like real violence, and talk is cheap at the end of the day. I can sit here and make myself sound like I'm tough and I want to fight. But
I can see you doing that.
I really want to, man. I did a little bit of Muay Thai growing up for a bit of training, a bit of fun. I've always enjoyed, even when I played football for 10 or 11 years, I like to let aggression out in healthy ways. And why not make money and put on a show for it? And
I think you're the perfect person for it.
So
honestly.
That's why we've been training. He's been training with Benny for ages. You train with Benny, and Ben's a really good coach. Ben's fucking great at coaching, actually. And he's good looking. If you're watching this, man, he's very good looking.
Ben's an amazing coach. Isn't he?
And I feel like I'm learning pretty well. And I haven't even really gotten to that point yet where I've gone 5-6 days a week for like a few months and really going like a proper camp.
You haven't done that?
No, I just float in and out, do a few sessions because I've had so many back problems and it was just painful to even get out of bed and walk, let alone punch and that. I'd have to take like 10 painkillers just to train, and it was so hard, bro. And I feel like I can punch hard. I feel like I've got basics pretty okay. So it's like once I can dial in with no injuries, no setbacks, and train hard for 12, 16 weeks, I'm pumped, man. I reckon it'd be sick.
Good. I think you should, but I think you've got the perfect discipline and mentality for it. Does that mean you can?
Well, it's the hyper focus.
Yeah, you can. I was supposed to say,
it's like I won't do it half-assed because I know if I do slack, I'm going to get fucking embarrassed, and I don't want that.
And you know what the best thing about boxing is? No one's coming out there to save you.
No.
Once you're out there,
it's one-on-one.
It's a very intimate store. It's just you and him. That's
just
it.
you. And you know that the other person has done just the exact same, or if not, maybe a little bit more. So it's like. You got to respect that as two people.
Who's going to work the hardest? Who wants it the most?
It's a head to head. Like
sometimes
full on battle.
100%. But sometimes a loss can really help you, man. Like depends on your mindset. Like a loss can make or break some people. If it's your first fight, like. I mean, I wouldn't want to lose my first fight, as you wouldn't want to either.
Yeah.
You know,
no, I didn't want to, man. I was for weeks wrecked by that.
Yeah,
It mentally got me so good. I had all my friends there watching. I had a.
That's what I mean. That's what I haven't for you. It is like nerve wracking.
I had an after party booked at the Emerson, and I couldn't even rock up to the after party. Still fucking all.
Yeah, right.
I just want to ride a horse to the ring with no music. Just silent, just no music, just ride a horse there in like a G-string, bro, and just get in there and unleash.
Horse freaks out, starts stomping the crowd.
I've made like a mental promise to myself the first couple of times I fight. This is probably going to give away a way for someone to beat me pretty easily, but I'm like, you watch a Michael Chandler in the UFC, I'm just like kill or be killed. Yeah. If I go out there and I get face planted out stiff in front of everyone, so fucking be it. I'm going out there and I'm swinging bombs, man. I'm throwing hammers and biting down on that mouthpiece, and I'm just going to move and swing as hard as I fucking can.
I can see that.
And I'm going to train that way so I can last for a few rounds doing it, because it'll probably only be 3 or 4 rounds.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll go out. Maybe I won't fight like this. Who knows? But that's
excited
ideally.
to see you fight, bro.
We should fight on the same card.
Yeah.
That'd be sick.
I reckon we should too.
Be dope.
I think I would fight again.
Yeah. Well, you've been training.
Have you still been training recently?
I actually went and hit the pads with Benny last Thursday.
Oh, yeah.
But I've been training. I've done a strength block for about a year now.
Oh, wow.
So I've done Monday to Friday, 5 a.m. with my strength trainer Steve.
Are you still doing a lot of running? You were doing heaps of running at some stage.
I still run about maybe 15, 20 Ks a week.
It's pretty solid.
How many days in a row did you run? You ran for like
290 because I ended up stopping. I was going to do the 3K once a day for 365 days. But honestly speaking, after about the 60th day, it was the same sort of thing.
That's
Does
a
that
lot of
make
fucking
sense?
days.
So
That's heaps.
and then what I ended up doing was I did a few more crazy runs in between. So I did a thing called I did the Goggins challenge, the 4x4x48, which was 4 mile every.
You read his book?
No, I haven't. 4 mile every 4 hours for 48 hours.
Oh, wow.
So I ran 79K in 2 days.
Holy fuck.
We should try that.
It was
Yeah, let's do it. I'm keen.
That changed my life. Do you want me to tell you? And I'll tell you the exact moment that it did, right? You have to run in 3.5 hour blocks, right? So you've got to pick between the three things. You either got to recover, eat, or sleep in those 2 days, whatever your body sort of needs more.
We should vlog this and do it with like no training though.
100%.
I'll do it again with you.
Let's do it.
Ooh, let's do it.
You have
I can't run that much. What the fuck is this all about? Come on, Lockie. I'll both.
If
I'll
you
mix
do it
up.
again, I'll step in and
Yeah, we could do it. Let's do it for sure.
Bro, I'm so keen for this.
What's the worst that can happen? I will put myself through hell.
Do you know what the moment was for me? Which I don't know if Goggins designed it for this way, but there was this moment, right, where it was the midnight run. I got back home and I set my alarm and I had to get up. I think it was like 3:32. I had everything always like aligned. I pressed my alarm on, shut my eyes, and my alarm went off again. And I thought, I put the wrong alarm on. And I looked, my brain skipped 3.5 hours sleep.
So how long does it take? 3 days?
48 hours, 2 days.
42 days. Okay, there you go.
So you run. I left at, I think it was 8 a.m. I ran at 8 a.m., 12 o'clock, 4 p.m., 8 p.m., 12 in the midnight, 4 a.m., 8 a.m.
And you said you did 70 something kilometers?
79K all up.
Wow. In 2 days.
That's pretty intense. Do you reckon you'd be able to do that?
I think I could. Honestly, I might be just like...
Did you complete it?
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Our last 3 runs were our quickest times.
Wow.
Just
I
really
feel like
pushing
once you
it.
get past that barrier.
I did it with a few of the boys. So Nick, Luke, and Jez.
But that's the cool
my
thing
three
about
best friends.
I got to think
Two
of
of us actually 3 quite random relationships.
That's cool.
Two of them I met on the run, and the other one was Nick from High Smile.
Oh, wow. You met 2 on the run.
2 of them I'd met on the run.
That's cool.
That's
That's
crazy.
pretty dope. But
And
that's
you
the
know
cool
what?
thing.
It was something that we had.
Brings people together.
Bro,
Yeah.
we had a brotherhood for that 2 days that I hadn't shared with anyone else in a long time. Do you know what I mean?
It's like
You were in
People
the
don't
trenches.
understand. That's like that's torture, bro.
A
That's
little bit of
big
a
run.
war together. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it was that was a mad one.
It creates a good bond. It's like a football team, you know. You're all training together. You're going through that hell together. If someone's slacking, the whole team suffers. It's like you've just got to get it done.
You nailed it.
What do you think was better? Do you think you would start again in the morning or at night? Because
Doesn't make a difference.
I want to like sleep at the end of it because I think I'd be so tired after it.
I honestly don't think it would make a difference.
You're going to
Really?
sleep, I
That
reckon,
48 hours is just like it's a blur.
I'd make it so my
Really?
finishing line was at Sin City fucking entrance. I'd walk in and get lit as fuck.
Wow.
I'd walk in and do 20 tequila shots back to back and collapse.
Just covered in sweat.
Take me
Just
home, I
ran
won.
fucking pork.
Ours was we finished at the Burley at Burley Hill, and I remember like it was the best feeling night. And do you know
Nice
what?
place to finish too.
Nothing ever felt as hard again after that, because you know what? Every time I did a training session or a run or something, I just think at least I don't have to do it again and then do it
Yeah.
another 2 days straight.
Yeah,
When you
wow.
But
fought,
now
what,
you're going to do it again.
I will do it again now.
that's impressive. I'd respect that.
sick.
With your boxing, when you fought, what did you like fight at? What weight?
I think I was like 83 or 84, but I'm already 79 now.
I was going to say, because you look like, not that you were like
I was fat then. I was fat.
You were more stocky, bro. Just chunky and
Bro,
solid.
I was 104 kilos. Where's my phone?
Oh, wow.
Wow.
104. Fucking hell. That's like for your size.
I was fat, man. I was good at hiding it. I wore 3XL white, like ASOS tees.
And you're walking around, what, 78?
I'm 79 now.
Yeah, fuck, there you go. 79. So you'd be fighting, you'd probably, bro, if you were doing a fight camp, you'd probably even lose more than that. You'd probably go to like 75, 76.
I'd go a bit leaner, I reckon.
I want to see these photos. We might have to show one of these photos on the video
Yeah, you can.
just so
I'll get-
everyone
I think we
knows.
will.
There you go. That's me. That was me on my first day in the Gold
Did you
Coast.
post this? Because I think I remember seeing something
Yeah.
of like, yeah, damn.
Crazy, hey?
Crazy.
Oh, wait, there's a better one. I thought that was the good photo
That's
on the left.
today.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
That's mental.
Stiffy. Got stiffy. Don't tell anyone. But yeah, no, I definitely want to do this. It'd be cool. I really want to do a big boxing event in Australia.
Bro, if you organise an event, I'll fight on your card.
100%?
Yep. I'll fight on your card.
Let's do it. Lockie said he will too.
I'll fight on it.
Yep. Do a big,
I think we have to. Like, people say, oh, there's no market here for it because like people here aren't as famous or there's not as big of an audience. But it's like, there still is people here.
And people want to, like, boxing's fun to watch.
Yeah.
So
Look at Paul Gallen. He's just made like 20, 30 mil from a few fights, like maybe 10 or 20
and
fights.
what I would do if I was you, which I think like Jake does, Paul and that do well, is put some like, mix it up, put some actual boxing fights in there too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, that's what I want to do. If I had 12 fights, have half of them as pro fights.
Nailed it.
Let these up and coming Aussie boxers who haven't
get an
been seen by many people, let them be on a bigger audience where there is 5 to 10 big influencers fighting or YouTubers. A lot of people will say, oh, it's a bit corny watching it. But if you've got like 10 people with a good following fighting on a card, then you've got 10 boxers who are also fighting, it brings eyes to these people.
Do you know what you do? You make it really clear right from the very start that, hey, the influencers, we respect the boxers.
Yep.
We love the boxers. You know what I mean? We're doing this sport because we love it. So we're going to give, they're giving their half, which is their skill, their ability, which we love.
Yep.
And we're going to give our half,
I think
which
it gets
is,
a bad
our
rap.
audience and,
100%.
the market. We're happy to merge that together. We're not saying we're better than them. We're not saying they're not saying they're better.
I think it just
We
gets
can
a
work
bad
together.
rap because some of these people can come in, have never trained, never fought, blood, sweat and tears their life and come make really big dollars straight away, which I can understand that. As a pro boxer, if I was a pro boxer and I've been training 15, 20 years, making 5K a fight, and I see some dude who doesn't even care
I'd
about
get
it.
in there and I'd want to smash him. 100%.
So I understand why people can be a bit upset about it. But if you be a bit more open-minded and be like, my time will come, I'll make my money. But these people are actually going to bring hundreds of thousands or millions of new eyes. I can be on this event. If I knock someone out, one of these pro boxers, and look good, I could gain 10, 20, 30K followers.
I agree.
And their worth goes up.
Bro. I think you've nailed it. And I think there's a really good market for it. And I think if as you said, the influencers and the boxers work together in making like the card about fighting as well as it is about, like the market and the audience that's going to be coming to watch and the entertainment. I think there's a perfect recipe.
Aussie boxing is at like probably the best stage it's been in a long time.
There's some big names coming out of Aussie
like
boxing.
everyone, there's a lot of Aussie fighters doing really well, like Liam Parrow, even Cambosis, Stevie Sparks just fought overseas, Benny's coming through. There's a lot of boxers out here doing really well, and I think at the moment Australia is finally getting back on the map worldwide for their boxing skills because there hasn't been many big Aussie boxing stars other than maybe Mundine and a couple of other names in the last 20 years. And now,
I agree, bro.
Now there's a lot of people.
I think there's not only an appetite for it, but there's actually a market for it.
Well, there's a reason Eddie Hearn come and did a card here. Like Eddie Hearn he's fucking like...
We saw potential, didn't he?
In my opinion, Eddie Hearn's the best boxing promoter in the business.
Yeah.
He came out here and just put a card on. So it's
So
like,
true.
there is a market here for it. People do like to watch it.
And the matchmaking was good. Like it wasn't easy fights.
Hell no.
Like Liam Parrows, they were having like very similar records and stuff, didn't they?
Yeah,
Really similar.
Liam and
this-
Brock, I
was
think it was
it-
like
yeah, I
21
went and
0
watched
each.
that.
Yeah, Liam got a first round KO. That was big.
That was
Liam's
wild.
a machine, hey.
Because everyone was asking, what's the other fella's name?
Brock.
Yeah, everyone was asking how good is he, and there was like a test for both.
Well, he's
of
been
them.
trained by
Brock
Fennec.
went up, that was his
He
first
did go
fight.
up,
Yeah,
but
he went up.
I thought that favoured him more than it did against him because he's a big dude, man. Sometimes people cut too much weight.
Yeah, I like when I saw that he'd went up a weight and Liam had been that was Liam's weight class.
That's
you know
Liam's
what I mean?
weight.
He's
But in terms
champ,
of body shapes, Liam looked like a smaller guy.
but you need to remember he's fought at that weight
Yeah.
and beaten champions.
He's
at
beaten a
that
few
weight,
undefeated
so-
fighters as well. He hasn't had a
Bro,
padded
did you
record.
see him? Did you see Liam's fight against that Russian guy who had about 700 fights?
What?
He fought this. He fought this guy. Turkish. Sorry, Turkish guy had 700 or something fights.
What?
And it was like
Holy fuck.
I watched the
Things
fight. I watched Liam fight the Puerto Rican fella on Jake's card earlier. No, that was maybe last year or earlier this year. But Liam fought an undefeated Puerto Rican guy who was like 22-0 or 21-0. They both had the exact same records, and they went out there. It was a really good fight, and Liam proved he can hang. So it's
Liam's
impressive,
a gun.
bro. It's
I love
inspirational watching people, whether they're like mega famous or not. It's just watching them on their grind through their struggle, their hard work paying off.
I think what we can draw that we love is we can respect anyone in their field that goes off and can put themselves, their body, their life, their mind on the line. And in an environment like a boxing ring where no one's coming out to save you, we can respect that.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it
100%.
comes down to.
I don't think people give enough respect to it about people getting in the boxing ring. Like they have no idea on like what it takes to get in a boxing ring and fight someone until someone loses.
No, anyone that's says yes to getting in a boxing ring, win or lose, has my respect.
Man, I'm confident in my fighting. Now I still get nervous at the thought of even getting in a ring and fighting someone because it's nerve wracking.
And it would be silly of you not to say so. Does that make sense? If you're not nervous, well, you got something's
you're
not
oblivious.
Right. Yeah.
See, I think this. It's like I won't know until the moment. But my whole life, I'm happily to admit I'm an attention seeker. I feed off lots of people reacting, screaming, booing, cheering, whatever it is. I think that shit will bring me to life.
It does with some people. Yeah.
I truly believe walking into a ring, I don't care if there's 50,000 people or 10,000, whatever it is, booing me and throwing shit, or if they're cheering for me. I don't care. I think the more people, the fucking more turned on I get. I'm just like, I want this shit.
See what, bro? That's your personal philosophy.
Yeah.
So run with it, bro. You're allowed to. If that's if that's what you feel from that, don't let anyone else tell you that.
I know in my head, what's the worst that's going to happen? These people are going to watch me get beaten. I don't fucking care.
And maybe that's your gift, bro. Maybe your gift is you can see it and feel it in that way. Because that's
if I get knocked out, I'm going to print a big canvas and put it above my bed of me lying on the floor dead, bro. I don't care.
Yeah, if you got nothing to lose, you
just got to embrace it. Like, if the people want to talk shit, make a meme of me and make fun of me if I lose, which I fucking won't, but let's just say on a random occasion, I do. Like, cool. I'll join them. I'll join them and bully me. I don't care.
Well, you're perfect for the sport, bro.
Yeah.
You're perfect for it.
It's like they're all hating from the sidelines, putting money in my pockets by hating and watching. So it's like, cool.
It's easy to judge when you're not the one in the arena, isn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I definitely agree, but I'm fucking so pumped to do it.
I
reckon we should organise like a sick event out here, maybe in the new year, next year.
I think even let you see what the audience and what Australia
What do you guys
reckons.
think? Anyone watching this? If we should do it, name some fighters or some YouTubers. We need to get a girl fight on there, I reckon.
Yes. Oh my god.
Get a few like makeup tutorial girls or something
like an
that.
influencer girl fight.
I reckon we should get my sister-in-law Kate Zepp on there.
But that would be cool getting a few girls in there to fight because I don't think many like girl influencer fights have happened.
Actually, I saw Hannah the other. She looks good. I watched her the other day.
Excuse me? In boxing or
I should have thrown that in there. Fuck, I didn't know what I said.
we have no context. Lockie's fucking flirting.
No, she looks good boxing. Sorry.
DMs are open.
I saw her in the pad. She was looking solid.
Bro, I think she's got the Orval anger in her too. Like you say, the stuff.
Her form was proper.
Yeah, she's been hitting pads for a bit too. I'm sure she'd probably have a crack if
There you go.
Yeah.
Does she have a boyfriend?
No, she doesn't.
Is it like, how do you guys feel about her getting a boyfriend? Is it like he's just gonna flog the cunt?
He's a really nice guy.
She's had a boyfriend before.
Yeah, no, I'm just over exaggerating.
It was he was a great guy. So
yeah, there
I
you
liked
go.
him. Even
as long as they're nice,
together,
you know?
I still I still think he's a great guy.
I think the same. My sister's had boyfriends or whatever, and it's just whatever. Whether I like them or not, you just gotta accept it.
That's it. And my thing is like you can't have a problem with the boyfriend at the end. You have to have a problem with your sister then. Does that make sense? And my sister is old enough, mature enough to make her own decisions and do whatever. And I respect them. Yep. And if I meet a partner and I don't like him, well, I have to deal with that.
And that's perfectly balanced maturity right there. That's a great response.
Thanks,
man. So I did want to ask you because like obviously you and your girlfriend, your whole family is in the public eye really. And like I myself understand these things. Like, what's a few tips for anybody that's watching, or even other people out there that might not want to open up about it? What would be your advice of how to deal with like backlash, negativity, trolls? Because we all have had our fair share of this shit, you know.
Yeah, well, I even went through it after the COVID stuff. You know what I mean? We got smashed online for a lot of stuff, and you know it's hard to not let things affect you. But at the end of the day, that's where I draw back to. You have to be really proud of who you are and yourself. Does that make sense? If you're out there servicing others and servicing an online world and tailoring everything you do to be received from an audience, well, then that audience is always going to have a control on your feelings and your emotions.
You can't let people dictate your life too much.
Exactly. If you live your life and authentically and you're proud of who you are down to when you put
nothing else matters.
When you put your head on that pillow at night, you go to sleep and you know from A to Z everything that you've done, there's no secrets, nothing you hide, nothing you're ashamed of, and you're proud of who you are. Carry that with you 24/7, and that's all that really matters.
Because a lot of it, the only things to me that matters is my close circle of friends and my family's, like their opinions matter to me because I value them as people.
And they should.
And I love and cherish these people, you know, and I want them to think that I am a good person because I think the same of them, you know. But to the general population, if I'm not breaking the law or harming people and they want to find reasons or ways to not like what I do, cool. I go to sleep. I go to sleep easy at night knowing that.
And that's how it's got to be. So I guess I would say that a bit like the water can only sink the ship if you let it get in. Yeah. So obviously water's going to get in no matter what, but just be smart with what water's coming, if that makes sense.
Or go to Bunnings and buy a good bucket and get that water out of there.
Fucking patch the hole. Get some
Just patch the hole up. But it's like, I think it's good because so many younger or older people that are up and coming trying to do social media things, as you said, this whole TikTok generation, it's so different now. Like everyone's trying to be an influencer or a TikToker or a YouTuber.
And we're all probably following algorithms and different trends and stuff that they're
and
not
people
you.
get thrown into these dark fucking routes and they don't know how to deal with any of this shit. So it's nice to be able to share insights of people who have lived through it, been through it, still go through it regularly. You know, it's like, it's just one of those things. So oh fuck, that was one thing I just got so sidetracked in my brain. Big brain fart, big fucking brain fart. I was thinking in my head because I said TikTok and I was thinking about America, and then I did want to ask you about when we were in America. We bumped into each other kind of. I mean, we didn't really know we were both going to be there until we were there, right? Like we messaged each other once we were there.
Yeah, that was, oh my gosh, man. That was still a story I tell till this day.
When was this? Was this a few
Years ago for NBA
When
2K.
NBA came
Was it
out.
probably 2019?
Well, no, wasn't it? What NBA was it?
2K19, I think.
Oh, right.
Okay, there you go.
There you go.
We both got flown out to an NBA event, like a launch. It was rappers. I think a little Pump was there.
Yeah, it was. I couldn't believe I was there.
NLE Chopper. There was a few.
It was by far the best I've been invited to.
It was sick, and we had a pretty fun, random old time.
Yeah, we did. Hey, we had a great time until about 10:30 at night.
What happened?
Don't you remember? Hey, I'll never forget this because clearly to Jackson it was just another night. For me, I don't often put myself in uncomfortable situations on purpose.
Yeah.
And Jackson and me left the event 2K and we said, we're in California, let's go past the dispensary. So we went and got a couple of joints and I thought we'll just have a smoke out the front of the hotel. We said, yep, let's do that. And we had a smoke and I thought, I'm starting to feel a bit paranoid.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to just go straight up to the hotel and maybe get something to eat and go to sleep. Anyway, Jackson nah, we're going for a walk. We're going to Denny's. We're going to Denny's. And
We're in downtown LA, which is a fucking
it's
dump.
It's 10:30 at night. It is terrifying, right? And I said, bro, I think I'm just going to go back. No, you're not, okay. His mind's committed. And I'm saying, okay, I'm going to have to go. So I'm walking in downtown LA just like.
Do you know we're only a couple of k's from Skid Row, which is that really, really gnarly place?
I could feel it, bro. I could feel where we were walking. You're talking to everyone. We get into this Denny's diner. It's full of people, right? I don't know if Jackson could sense that I was uncomfortable or not, but I just wanted to sit down and I just wanted to blend in with the furniture. I was sitting down. Jackson's reading there, ordering his menu, and he starts going,
There was some,
the whole restaurant is looking at us.
and there was some shady looking fucking people.
If you don't want attention brought to you, do not sit around
we
Jackson.
we were at IHOP, and IHOP's like just like it's one of those places. It's good food and that, but it's open pretty much all the time. People are there at all hours, druggies, sobers, whatever it is, and there was some gnarly people there, I think. But
bro, it was, and then all of a sudden, because then I gathered, I thought, is he pranking me or filming me, or is he just doing this? I don't even know at this point. I looked up at him. I couldn't see a camera or anything like that. And then I don't even know if you remember this, but I'm pretty sure they must have been fans of you because that Argentinian family in soccer Guernseys came standing around a table, about 10 of them holding hands and dancing around our thing. And
we were stoned as fuck.
I was sitting there going, what is going on? Is this even real life?
What did they do? What was all that about?
I don't know.
No
Celebration.
idea. I think they must. I honestly have a feeling because I thought about it maybe for the next 2 days straight.
At home, just what the fuck was
I
that?
got home in the hotel room. I called Chloe and I was like, I think I just got pranked.
We were just enjoying some nice pancakes, and before you know it, we had this nice cultural dance around us.
We had him screaming and then a family doing dances around us. I think it was soccer chants around our
Maybe,
table.
yeah. And this is back like before I kind of really was smoking much weed. I didn't do weed very regularly then. Like
I didn't smoke.
I hated it.
Yeah.
I hated it growing up.
I smoked it because it was legal there.
It's legal. We're in America. It's a fun little
Here's the
fuck
chance.
yeah.
And then it was
And you
like,
you weren't drinking at the time either.
nah,
so
and
like,
so my mind was just like,
and I didn't want to drink. I didn't want to drink really either. So we just kind of bounced the event. I was like, fuck it. We're in America. It's legal. Who cares?
that was a crazy time, bro. That was that bleeped me out like you could not.
Oh man,
believe.
we've done some fucking
I
weird
could
shit.
imagine
in
that
America.
high, man. That would be
I
fun.
remember walking around with like my pants up here one day, just like this, like through down like near Hollywood Boulevard off the
This
back
is
street.
crazy.
And these like few African American dudes walk by me, and he's like, "Hey, pull your fucking pants up, you FAGGOT." I'm not going to say that word because it's homophobic now. F word, ass, N word, and I'm like, "Wait, what?" And I was with my mate Kristen, and he's like, "Oh yeah, pull them up. I mean, I pull them down." He's like, "Wear them." He was calling me like fucking all the homophobic slurs, all this shit. And I was like, who the fuck do you think you are? I was like, don't fucking tell me what to do, cunt. And he lifts his fucking thing up, War and Peace right there. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. My pants coming down. Do you want to fuck me as well? I'm like, do as you please.
Bro, that's what scares me about America. You don't know who is carrying anything.
And that's why.
Like, even road rage.
That's not a gun calling like situation.
Bro, I was watching a video the other day where in Houston, the basketball referee has got a piece.
Yeah.
He's reffing.
In case the basketballers get out of control, so you can just pop them all.
Not even red cards anymore.
Yeah,
They just got a gun on them.
Yellow card, red card, blow your head off.
If you fight, boom. Anyways,
That's it. Mitch is getting PTSD. He's like, oh, fuck, it's that noise again.
I was like, he's back.
no, I was like,
Yes,
that was it. In the restaurant,
it.
looking at my menu, and it was so quiet in there until
then-
the Argentinians decided.
And
to dance.
yes,
I've heard the noise.
But we've had some funny little memories.
Yeah, and my other one was when we walked. I still remember walking into the 2K event. They were doing the security, like the event started, and they were doing the security, like to check you didn't have firearms on you or whatever. They get up to Jackson, and Jackson just drops himself nude.
I pulled my pants down, took my shirt off, and I was
shirt
like,
off, he's naked. They're just like that, and everyone's just like.
and in America, it's like they don't understand the sarcasm. A lot of people do. I've got a lot of.
I'm
good
from
friends there.
Australia, and I really didn't even understand it at that
But
point.
that's the thing. A lot of people like that because I won't laugh or smile. I'll just do shit unless I actually find it. I just do shit and just to freak people out.
And I think that's what people actually, I don't know if like you've spoken about that much, but I don't know if people actually understand that with you that, you know, like as much as you do things for attention and validation and for views online, it's a massive part of your identity and who
I've
you
been like
are
it my
as a
whole life.
character. You camera off or camera on, you give the same charisma, the same energy, the same everything. Does that make sense? It's it's not an act.
I like to be the same person. I think there's always different circumstances. Like sitting here on a podcast, we can have sick, mature, deep chats, and we can also have fun. But then with videos, you know, I'll do some more fucked up shit for that. Or when I'm partying, obviously I'm going to do some pretty fucked up shit. But that's the thing. It's like, I think a lot of that's the same as you. You're a real person in real life, and you're very real and share your real shit online too. And I think like a lot of influencers or YouTubers, they show this life, but they are not really being authentic to themselves. They'll turn it on for the cameras, turn it off, and they're just like back to like completely different people.
Wow, so good. It's a great point.
A lot of people are like that, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I mean, it's
I
just
think most people are like that. Like,
But you can see where the disconnect comes from then, hey, and then we can start to see when you start receiving messages about this and that, where all of a sudden you can see how it affects you because it's like, well, you've got two identities that are currently, you know, at war with each other, and you're just wondering which one you are and which face you've got to save. Does that make sense?
It gets confusing. I remember when I was like in a real bad way years ago, I remember reading a few things, just trying to figure some shit, just trying to help myself. And I know, because I was a bit unsure. I was like, do I want to be this person anymore? Like, am I sick of like always having to be the class clown? Am I? Because it's like, it just naturally comes to me. I don't sit here and think, oh, what can I do that's funny? What can I do? I just do shit. And I got to the stage where I was really down. I was like, fuck, I was just a bit lost in myself. And I was like, I remember reading what Jim Carrey said. He's like, depression can be something like your avatar looking yourself in the mirror telling you you're sick of playing this character.
Wow.
It's time to be the next person that you're meant to be, you know? And I would fight that because I don't want to be anyone different. People like me, maybe some people don't, but a lot of my people like me for who I am. It's if I change, am I going to lose my friends? Is my family going to look at me differently? Obviously, it's over-exaggerated, but yeah, I think a lot of people, they get scared of change, which is one thing I respect about you. You've made a lot of changes. You've done a lot of really big things. Some people might think it's a bit over the top, but I think it's perfect. Like, it's good. It's got to be done.
At the end of the day, it might be over the top, but at least it's me. Does
100%.
that make sense? I'm doing what I feel, and because I've made the decisions and the choices, if I get it wrong, I can live with it.
Yep.
But if someone else was telling me who to be and what to be, and then it didn't work, well, I'm going to resent forever.
Yeah.
But hey, I can die by the sword of my own decisions,
100%.
knowing that they're my own.
If you believe in what you're doing and it makes you happy and you think that that's what you want to do, then fucking who cares what everyone else says?
Nailed it.
Anyways, it's been quite a while already, but thanks so much for coming on, bro.
Awesome, man. I've really enjoyed the
Appreciate
chat.
it. It's been fucking awesome to catch up and have a good chat. It's been good to see his beautiful face. Dig, I'm talking about. And all the best with everything in the future, bro. Hopefully we can catch up soon, make a little workout in someday. We've got to do this run.
I think we got I think we have to book in the 4x4 by 48, and I think you should get that card done in Australia.
Yeah.
And you've got my appetite or interest.
Beautiful. I think we get a few good people in there, man.
I agree.
And it doesn't have to generate millions and millions and go monster viral. You don't need a lot. You don't need it to go great, like amazing for it to be worth
Start
doing.
with a niche. Let's make it an Australian thing. You know what I mean? Let's try to put something on for Australia.
100%. I agree. Anyways, thanks, brother.
No worries. Thanks for having me, bro.
Been lovely. And make sure you guys like and subscribe. Check out the description. We'll have a link to Mitch's socials and everything else there. If you want to go follow him, check out the rest of his journey. I'm sure it's going to be very interesting and inspirational to people like me. But in the meantime, thank you to Mitch. Thank you to Lachlan for coming on. And I'm going to go upstairs and sit in the corner and I'm going to cry for an hour. So I hope everyone has a beautiful day while I'm up there fucking crying.
Oh, it's
Goodbye.
always a pleasure.